Hey guys, it's JFCMexotics here, and in today's video I will be talking about chameleon cages and chameleon setups. Specifically, what types of cage you can and can't use with chameleons, and the pros and negatives to both of them. Now currently, this is my panther chameleon. He's in a 4x2x2 mesh cage. It doesn't have a make because it was custom made, but I'll be showing you it all today, and I'll be going over all the different types of cages, and so yeah, we'll get straight into it. Okay, so this is currently Charlie's cage. It is a 4x2x2 mesh cage, and the reason you want it to be mesh is because chameleons really like ventilation. So I don't know the ins and outs of why they need or like ventilation, but I know it's something that you'll read on every care sheet, that they like ventilation and that they need it. So what most people do for adult chameleons is they buy these mesh cages. Now they don't have to be this type of mesh. They can even be like trellis along the sides, because a chameleon isn't really an escape artist. Some people even don't have a cage, which I'll come to in a bit, but it doesn't have to be metal mesh. It can be any type of side that allows air to flow through. But this is just a cage that came with Charlie, and I've been using it ever since. I found out that it is the most popular choice of cage, purely because it's so unique and niche looking, and it's just a really cool cage to look at. Now, another commonly used type of setup for chameleons is also these wooden Arboreal Bavarians. Currently this one is being used for my carpet python, but the setup is very similar. You'd have sticks and branches going across it like this. However, you would also need to cut out several more ventilation holes, once again because chameleons love ventilation. These cages are very popular in the UK. I'm not too sure about America. I rarely see this type of enclosure in America. However, it's not too hard to build, just on your own. It's literally just a wooden box with a glass front. But once again, these cages are really popular here in the UK because they hold heat well, and they hold humidity fairly well. That is one downfall of the mesh cages, is any humidity that's there just dissipates within like half an hour or so, so you need to keep constantly spraying them. I spray Charlie about 3 times a day, and he also has that dripper going on throughout the day as well. Whereas in this cage you might be able to get away with spraying twice a day, or maybe even less, depending on how well your enclosure holds humidity. The next type of enclosures I want to talk about are terrariums. Now, more and more terrariums are being used for chameleons, and they do a decent job. However, due to the fact that they are all glass on either side, they're not the best choices, purely because they lack that ventilation. With chameleons, although they do need quite a bit of space, it's more about the actual structure of the cage more than the space itself. And so that's why terrariums are the best, because they do limit space. There is no terrarium that I've seen in the wild that they make 4 foot high or 4 foot long. So that is kind of a restriction in terms of the chameleon has a smaller space, but also they don't get the ventilation that they need. However, I have seen them work well with chameleons. I've seen chameleons that live in them and live happy lives, but just overall, you want to go for something with a mesh side, or even stranger than this, no cage at all. Now, this is something that I've been seeing on Facebook quite a lot recently. It's chameleons that simply live in a setup like this, but without the mesh bit completely. So they will still have the base for all the water to go into. However, they'll have no mesh, and these lights here, these ones, will literally just be suspended from the ceiling. So the chameleon is stuck on like some plants and trees in the middle of a room or something. Because they're not ground dwelling, they're 100% arboreal, they have nowhere to go other than those trees, so they just stay there. I would love to do a setup like that, but I think just having the enclosure just makes everything work a bit better. I can have the lights on top, I can have my dripper on top, but overall I just find it that little bit easier just to have him inside a mesh cage. And as you can see here, he does use the mesh quite a bit. He likes to climb up it, he can get his claws in it, and it just acts as like a surround climbing frame. You will often see him just completely scaling it. Sometimes he's not the best at it because he's quite old now, but many chameleons will do it with ease. So that's what I'd recommend out of all of them, having a mesh cage like this one. Where is he going? I don't want him to fall. Whoa, buddy. Stay up. What are you doing? Oh, he's coming out. But yeah, I would definitely recommend mesh cages. They do tend to be pricier than normal cages. This one, when the person who I bought it off got it, was £235 for this 4x2x2 mesh cage. But I do think it's definitely worth it. You can use the mesh to put things like cable ties through, to tie vines on and all that. And it just works really well for them. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. It's been JFCMexotics.